What's a locus? Yeah, a point. A path that point will trace out based on certain conditions. All right. So, for example, if I told you that I want you to always be the same distance away from this point, then you will trace out a circle. All right. Right. What were the key features of a circle? What? A radius, Anna? Anna? Something else you need to define a circle. Radius, Anna? Center. Right? Once you have those two, you can define a circle. Now, what we're going to look at is something called an ellipse, which is a version of a circle. Right? So imagine a circle, right? But instead of making the distance the same, we vary the distance. Right? So, for example, let's say I gave you a center, and I set the distance from the center in 3 units on the y-axis, and the distance from the center 2 units on the x-axis. Right? If you were to trace that part out, you will get something like that. That's an ellipse. Right? Right? And the equation of a circle was what again? Anybody remember? So the equation of a circle, x minus a squared plus y minus b squared is r squared. That's okay? Or I can write it like this. X minus a on r all squared. Y minus b on r all squared is 1. Everybody okay with that? They both are the same thing. If I divide everything by r squared. Come on here, cooler. Put that one on. Are you okay with that? Yeah. Everybody okay with that? Right? So what changes now? Suppose I gave you an ellipse now. Suppose I said for an ellipse, I given you the same center. The center is AB. What changed? What changed from the circle to the ellipse? Would it have the same center? Right? Same center AB. Same center AB. But what changed? It don't have the same radius. So the equation kind of might still look the same, except for the fact that you don't have r underneath. You have this distance and this distance here. So the distance for the x, let me call that p. And the distance for the y, let's call that r. That's what the equation of an ellipse will look like. Just like, sorry, let's not call it r. Let's call it q. That's okay? That's a concept of an ellipse. Right? Since it's not much older, everybody will get a question to come and go that group. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 TikToks. 9 TikToks a day. Hey, right. I'm an so you know that it's viral everywhere. All right. So head up ellipse. Right. Again, I was just trying to show you how to go from circle to ellipse, right? Good or bad thing, you don't really have much questions on this. Right? Because I'm practice showing, so. The calculator. We do all four tournament today. It was better. Well, now we know. Good. We have more to do. We have probably like give people for it. All right. So write it down for our ellipse. The locus of an ellipse. Let's write this definition down, right? Is a point P. The locus of an ellipse is a point P which moves, is a point P which moves the locus of a point P which moves in a plane so that the sum which moves in a plane so that the sum of the distances so that the sum of the distances from two fixed points called foci constant. The sum of the distances from two fixed points called foci is constant. FOCI. FOC. All right. So what is here? So let's pretend that the center is 0, 0. Right? There are two fixed points that are equally distant from the center. Let's call this one F1 and this like the same distance. What's it? It wouldn't come up perfect, right? So you have those 2 points. Those 2 points are called foci, right? And here's what it says. It says that every single point on the ellipse, let's say a point is here. Whenever you add up the distance here and the distance here, when you add up those distances, always going to be constant. So for example, if the next one is here, if you add up the distance here and the distance there, it will be a constant. Let me make up some numbers. Let's say here's 5 and here's 5. When I sum the distances, I'm going to get 10. All right. Now, if I sum from here to here, it might be 3. If I sum from here to here, it might be 7. So you're getting 3 plus 7, 10. So when you sum the distances from the foci, you're always going to get the same thing. Right? So here, I just tracing out a few, right? One here, might be here. And it will come back here. So it might look something like this.
So advanced, we just get like just one focal point.
You will get,
It'd be very hard to how we see it.
yeah, in math, you just get like 2 focal points and focal point. Well, one, you'll get a focus and you can go for that. Right? So if you were to trace on path using that locus information I gave you all, you would end up with a parabola. I mean, sorry, with an ellipse. Okay? So what this said is that the sum of distances from F1 and F2 called the foci all constant. So this distance, always the same. If I were to, for example, find the distance here, right? The sum of the distances that you might get 4 and 6. It's always constant, right? It's always constant. Everybody okay with that? And the part it will trace out. And the part it will trace out is an ellipse. That's okay? Everybody okay with that? So what is the condition? The conditions are the sum of the distances from the foci are always constant. Everybody okay with that? Right? There are two things that we need to know here, F1 and F2. We call that the foci. And we call the longer side, in this case, the x-axis. X-axis is the major axis. And we call the y-axis in this case is the minor axis. So basically, the longer one is the major, the shorter is the minor. All right? Copy that down underneath the locus diagram, right? Under your locus diagram, write that down. Right? Based on what we learned here, we can get our equation, right? Right? Put in these values a minute. Put in the A and the B and the minus. Right? Based on what we learned here and what I showed you earlier, could you help me get the equation of the ellipse? Of this ellipse? Based on what you learned there. What will be the equation of that particular ellipse? Equation, help me now. I hear you the man to help me. I'll give you a help. There are plus sign and an equal sign.
X, B. What is the
The x will be?
well, X minus A.
Right, no. A and B is the what? Center. Yeah, the center is what? It will be x minus 0 over what?
X, B.
Yeah, good guess. All squared minus
Y minus
all squared. Very good. Right? Or you can write it like this: x squared on a squared plus y squared on b squared is 1. Right? That's the equation of this parabola. I mean, I keep saying parabola. I mean, yeah.
You could have a negative.
Huh?
You could have a B.
Yeah.
B.
I mean, Jesse.
Like, well, I think we're going to say,
No, it don't matter. This E tells you that it's on both sides. So it's equidistant from here to here. All right. And since this special point here called the foci, we need to be able to find it. Right? So the foci here is 0C. And the foci here will be 0 minus C. Right? So how do we find C? C squared is A squared minus B squared. Right? And it only The only reason is a squared minus c squared is because a is greater than b. Right? If b was greater than a, then c squared would have been b squared minus a.
So you like.
Huh? Alive here. Who is live, buddy? Think live. Confused?
No, no, no.
Oh,
He's not sure. Okay. Well.
well, I think full term. I think I'll go in the back. Huh? Right. Quick question while you're writing. Nathan, what would have happened if B is bigger than A? See how A bigger than B here? What would have happened to if B is bigger than A?
Just be portrait and we could.
What's call it? Portrait. Right? So instead of it like this, it'll look like that. Portrait. So then something there like portrait. So what is it last year?
Yeah.
Why be like that? Portrait. Let me try one here now. Online, any questions? I just have to put some numbers into it and we're gonna try and sketch it, right? Please remember, you have to find C, right? You can't just write F and F1. You have to find C. Okay? As I said, this only came in multiple choice. It never really came in paper 2. It came in a practice, not practice. You have to just call a specimen paper. But it didn't come officially in one of it. All right, let's see if we can sketch that now. 9x squared plus 4y squared is equal to 36. Right, Adam. So what's the first thing we're going to do there? What's the first thing we're going to do there? 9x squared plus 4y squared, 36.
After you back,
Yeah, yeah.
if all divide by 4,000.
And you want to get, what you want to get?
We are okay.
So what would you divide by?
You think 6 by. Oh shit, oh shoot, this last thing.
You want to get 1 here, so what you divide by?
36.
36. So you divide everything by 36 and then you'll get a form like this, which can help you find E and B. Then give them a quick sketch. Right? In your sketch, you must have was B, was A, and was C.
This is still open box.
No, it never came before. Something like this came, a small thing, but that was it. Right? Well, people. I have no other group. Ask me that question now. No, just focus on the circle. This, remember, this modulus trick as a whole question. And the vectors and there's more vectors and circle.
The vectors look up as well.
Yeah, three and as is 2 directions. And you add on something called a line and a plane.
Why did one of yeah, like whatever. I don't care what yes, sorry. I do not just be real. Was geht dafür schon eigentlich nicht mal so das yeah. You see something there. You would take it on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what this is something you want to. You are this. So we laugh. There, right? Oh, nice. You go out and see.
Right, remember we did everything. What do you want? So we divide everything by 36, right? So we'll end up with x squared on, instead of writing 4, writing 2 squared, right? Y squared is equal to 9, I write in 3 squared, and here is 1. Right? So A is how much? A is 2, and B is 3. Right? Slight problem. B is bigger than A, so it will not look like that, right? It will look like the portrait, right? B on A, right? So it will be B on A. Pardon me, sir? 9 and 6 and 4. Sorry, 2 squared 1 time. Right? And C is the square root of 3 squared minus 2 squared. So that's the square root of what? 9 minus 4, root 5. Right? Right? So when we compare it, we get A, we get B, and now we have C. That's all we need. We can start a plot now. Right? Remember, it wouldn't be shaped like this because B bigger than A. It could be shaped like this. Oh, but those who now come take a picture of that fast. Or shut it down fast. Finish. Go let's. Want to go let's right? Right, let's do a quick little sketch now of what it look like. Right, what's the center here? Center is what? 0, 0, right? So the center is 0, 0. Let's take the picture. Those with finish up.
Yes.
Right, what is sketch say? Right, so we have 0, 0, that is center. The center is 0, 0, right? Which is larger? B is bigger than A, right? So your foci will be on your major axis. Okay? So your foci will be root 3, root 5 is how much? 2 point something. It's about here. So that's root 5 minus, just a sketch, right? And here's still 3, so that's 2 point something. So 3 might be here. This is the negative 3, positive 3. And the minor axis is 2. So if that is that, let me say here's about 2. And here's about minus 2. Connect it up. Right? It'll look like that. Right? I didn't mention to you before, but write this down, that the foci are always on the major axis. The foci are always on the major axis. The foci is always on the major axis. All right? So, right? So sometimes the center cannot be 0, 0. Huh? So if you see x minus 4 and y minus something all squared, then the center change. Right? So what will happen is that you have to shift everything. Right? So if you center here, you're kind of like shifting the graph here. Right? So remember, for those who now join, this is a version of a circle. A circle has a radius. So that means all the distances here are the same. Now on an ellipse, the distance on the y and distance on the x will be different. Right? So one might be longer than the next. Right? So it will be shaped like an ellipse. All right? Try number 2. Now number 2, we're going in reverse. Find the equation of the ellipse. This time you do this on the board? Yes, Zachary. Oh yeah, I don't have a rule, so just call him name here. Right here. Try this one, please. Find the equation of an ellipse. Given the foci. Find the equation of the ellipse. Given the foci minus root 3, 0, root 3, 0. And the length of the minor axis is 6. And the length of the minor axis is 6. Find the equation of the ellipse if the foci are minus root 3, 0, root 3, 0. Online, if you have any questions, just say it. If the foci are minus 3, 0, root 3, 0, and the length of the minor axis is 6. Just a quick question. What's the length of the major axis here? 6. What's the length of the minor axis here? Right? Keep that in mind, right? So what I need you to do now is to find the equation. Okay? Right? Of course, you'll recognize the center is 0, 0, right? Center is 0, 0. So I want you to figure out what the equation is. So to get the equation, remember, we need A, B, and B basically. Right? What's that again? The minor axis.
Yeah.
The minor axis is so look at this here. This will tell you which is the major axis. Huh? This will tell you, remember, the foci are always on the major axis. So this hint here will tell you what is the major axis. Right? Take a 2 minutes. Try that. Not sign, eh? With the block. Yeah. Oh, yeah, on this side. Oh, Adrian Casa, Adrian, I treat. Yeah, I treat twice. So what is, for this question, what is C? True, right? Nice. So now we have to figure out what E or B. Where is where is the major axis? The X or the Y axis? The X axis. Look at where the foci is. Look at where the foci is. The foci is on the X axis. Because Y is 0. Right, Lucas, what? This is C, right?
Yeah.
This is C. Right? And the Y value is 0. So only on the X axis something Y to be 0. So it means that it's on the X axis. So it means that the minor is the Y axis and the major is the X axis. Right? Major, minor. Right? But for this question here, the major is the other way around. The major is, so the graph will be like this. So the major is here. Right? Because we know where the foci is. The foci is always on the major axis. Okay? So can we figure out B? Can we figure out B and then we'll figure out A? Right? Remember, B is always on the y-axis, right? So how long is this? 6, right? So the major axis, sorry, the minor axis is 6. So B has to be how much? 3. Very good. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Right? Because the length is our 2B. The length 2A, 2B. Okay? So it means that B, let me write it like that. Therefore, 2B is equal to 6. B is equal to 3. Right? So we know C, we know B. Now it's time for you to go and find A. Right? C squared is A squared. Yeah? Yeah. Find A and then create the equation from a place. You know how to sketch it? I just want the equation. when you have an estimate to do, you also put the whole thing in ChatGPT and just take it out and set it stuff. I got to it piece by piece.
But it was like piece.
And then take it back out. I'll just give me 4 things a month. And then figure out how to start so without just giving you up.
So what just yes, we
Yeah, that people just take it and put it in ChatGPT and move it back. So the thing I do that and just make forward just
yeah.
all right, so we should have. Oh, why did I write A minus B and not B minus A? Because the major axis is the x-axis, right? So now A squared, well, A is the square root of C squared plus B squared. So that's the square root of root 3 squared plus 3 squared.
Yeah.
That's root 12.
Yeah.
A is root 12. Yeah. So what is the equation? The equation of the ellipse is equal to x squared over A plus y squared over B. All right. If you want it to look nicer, well, you could write it like this. Right? And then we can multiply everything by 12 by 9. What's that again? 12 by 9 is 108. Right? So you multiply everything by 108. Right? Anyone can work. Anyone can work. Right? That'll be the equation of your ellipse. Right? So once you have A, B, and C, that's all you need. Let's see. Yeah. X squared over A squared plus Y squared of B squared is 1. If the center is 0, 0. I'm gonna give you one now where the center is not 0, 0. Right? So all you have to figure out now is when the center is not 0, 0, how you will sketch it. Ready? Next one. Sketch an ellipse. Sketch an ellipse.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, ready? Right. Slight problem here, right? Only Zachary. Slight problem here with this one to change. Center is now what? Center is now 6 minus 4, right? Right? 6 minus 4.
Sounds so pretty bad. 35.
What?
We're laughing.
Right? A is 3. A is 3 and B is 2. Right? A is 3 and B is 2. C is what? Which one larger? A bigger, right? So that'll be 3 squared minus 2 squared. Right? So that's root 5. Right? So now we have to be careful, right? Because the foci will change a little bit now. Okay? So let's start some plotting. Right. So the center is what? Your center is 6 minus 4. So that's like somewhere here. Right? Your center is 6 minus 4. This value is minus 4. This value is 6. Right. Which one is the major axis? X or Y? X is the major axis, right? So from here, how far going? How far going? 3 units, right? So your here is 6 are going back to how much? Right? Halfway here are going to 3 minus 4. That's okay? How much are going to here? 3 again, so that would be what? That would be 9 minus 4. Right? What about up? How high are you going? 2, right? So it will stay 6 and I will go up how much? About here. So that'll be 6. That'll be 6 minus 2. Then I'm going down how much? So that'll be 6 minus 6. Connect it up. Right? Something missing? What missing? Foci. Anybody can help me get the foci? All we have is root 5. How are we going to get the foci? And the foci is normally root 5 away from the center. So how do I write that? Any ideas? That'll be minus 4. Sure. You sure that is 6 plus root 5? We're moving horizontally. So it will be, I just writing it here. It will be 6 plus root 5 minus 4. And here's what? And here will be 6 minus root 5 minus 4. Everybody clear it up? Everybody okay how to get the foci? After you find C now, you add in and you minus in C from whichever the major axis. In this case, X is the major, so you add in and minus in 6. Minus adding and minus in root 5 from 6. Got it clear up? So that is your circle. I mean ellipse. Okay, and look at the equation, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different, right? Right? Depends on you. You okay this, Jordan? What is this? Huh? Yeah. I don't have access. Huh? Divide by. Okay, try and simplify. Let me show you come up with. But is it a circle? No. These two have to be the same to be a circle, right? So more than likely, this is an ellipse. So we had to figure out how to write this in that form. How can I write this in that form? Put the x's together and then what? Completely squared. Very good. Right? So here we could do. We could write 3x squared minus 12x. Here we could write 6y squared plus 24y. Leave the 6 on this side. Complete the square here, complete the square here. Complete the square means this man. Right in this form. Huh? So you have to complete this square. You remember to do this? Huh? Yeah, I think I take variation K. Right, but H is what? H is B on 2A and K is C minus A squared. Check and see, I think the calculators give it K and H. Right, complete the square, complete the square. Let's see what you got. Complete the square just simply means find H here and find A and K here, A and K here. Sorry, H and K, H and K. Use the formula. And then you will have it looking like that. Understand? Wait, not me to do it. I'll give you a minute. Right, complete the square. Let's see what I got. Right, complete the square here, complete the square here. Look at that here. Look H and K right here. Hey, then excuse me, finishing it up, please. If it's not too much trouble, you could find it. So you have the center. I want everything, right? Center and all the vertices. Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
Huh? Okay, let's see now. So I'm completing the square here. Right? I know that A is 3. I know that B is minus 12, and I know that C is 0. So I know what H is. H is B on 2A. So that's minus 12 over 6 minus 2. And then K is minus A squared. So minus A is minus 3 by H, which is minus 2 squared. I got minus 12. Do you have that? So the first one will be 3 by X minus 2 squared minus 12. That's okay? That's when they complete the square for the X part. Now you have to complete the square for the Y part. Don't forget the equal to minus 6 here. Anybody found each one? What do you get for each here? Plus 2. You sure? There's b on 2a. So that'll be 12 minus 24 minus 12, positive 2. Yeah, I just completed the square. So what does the part here? It's like how I got h minus. H is minus 2 to upper in there. You're not changing the sign or not. Minus how much? 24, you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah? Minus 24 equal to minus 6. What do I do now? Move across these two values. Right? So I'll get 3 by x minus 2 squared plus 6 by y plus 2 squared is equal to minus 6 plus, I'm moving across this 36 here. And 12 minus 24. Hmm? What you got here? Minus 24, right? Right, minus 12 minus 24 is minus 36. And I move it across here and I get plus 36. Didn't get up? I'll get up. And now we end up with 3 by x minus 2 squared by 6 by y plus 2 squared is 2. I think it was a nicer number than that. All right. And well, let's divide everything by 30. Divide everything by 30, and we will end up with x minus 2 squared on 10 plus y plus 2 squared on 5. That's 1. Right? Now we have our ellipse. What's the center? Center is 2 minus 2. 2 minus 2. Right? Remember, it's supposed to be minus 2. Right? And then we can work out all the foci, all the axes. Which one is the major axis? X or Y? X. Right? And then find C for them. C is the square root of 10 minus 5. Right? C is root 5 again. Any questions? I know it's long, but we had to be able to convert from here to here. Right? And all we can do is complete the square. If you go to calculator and put this in, if I'm not mistaken, the calculator will give you a minus h and 2. Right? They'll give you the minimum value and the x value. Right? So you have to remember not to put in, they will give you plus 2. You have to remember to put minus. Right? I don't know if it's complete square in full for you. Let's do that. Complete square. Well, no. All right, last thing, parametric equations. Last thing, parametric equations of a funny.
So.
Now, last one. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I want to finish up.
Yes.
Right, here's what you're gonna do. Look back at the parametric equation for a circle, no phones that you can ask ChatGPT anything. Right? Look back at the parametric equation of a circle and tell me if you can figure out what's the parametric equation of an ellipse. Right? And just write them by the Cartesian here. Right? Let's use these letters, right? Let's use H and K down here, right? Use any letter P and Q, but let's H and K. This is the general form, right? This is Cartesian form. What I want you to help me is to try to figure out what's the parametric form by looking at the parametric form of a circle. Hmm? Or they can look back and figure it out. No.
This sign as equals to an x x minus y. Plus it will be the same to be.
Well, close to it. Think about it. Yeah, you have to use the same letters I have here. It's not A. No.
So it's plus h. Level not sweetness. Level not
What you all think? Zachary, you tell me what to do. Tell me what's the tell me what's the parametric for a circle. Read it back. You don't have it?
Sign.
So it's what? It's what for a circle? A plus R cos theta, and then
B plus R sin.
right.
And
So instead of R is what? H, and instead of R here is K. So it's a B same center, right? A plus H cos theta, B plus K sin theta. Right? Okay. All right, we'll stop there. I might as well do something up queen up today. I would be back. All right. So next day we'll do parabola and finish up coordinate geometry. Right? Coordinate geometry only have circle, ellipse and parabola. All right, online. We'll stop.